Block Gemara. I'm sorry, I'm now in the airport here in Singapore, so hopefully it all sounds all right. So we are up to the Tzadik Hey. The last thing we were discussing is the Lechem Aponim, the shape of the Lechem Aponim, like dancing boats, or was it like a flat box with extended vertical sides? So now the Gemara has an interesting question regarding when they traveled in the Idba with the Mishkan and they dismantled it. So what is the status of the Lechem HaPanim? So you have Machne Shchina, which is where the Mishkan was. You have Machne Levi, where Moshe Rabbeinu taught, and then you have Machne Yisrael. And later when they moved to the Eretz Yisrael, so Machne Yisrael became Yerushalayim, and Machne Levi became the base, the Har HaBayis, and Machne Shchina was the base of Mikdash. And so the question is, when they dismantled the Mishkan and they took off all the sides, does a Lechem HaPanim have a din of Yaitse, that it's outside the Mishkan, and it would be possible? Or do we say, as long as it's still sitting on the original table, the Shulchan, it's not like Yaitse? And that's the discussion we're going to have. So Rabbi Gemara of Tzadik Hey, 6 lines from the top of the page. Iboy, we have a question. Lechem haponim nifsul b'masais. Do they become possible when they were traveling? Or eino nifsul masais? Do they become possible when they were traveling? Is a machlekes between Rabbi Yochanan and Yeshua ben Levi. Chadam, one of them says nifsul. It becomes possible because the Mishkan is no longer standing, so your Yaitse, you left. Chadam ein nifsul. It never left. It's still sitting on the shulchan. Mandam and nifsul. They both bring psukim. One who said it became possible to see it says a pasuk kasher yachanu. The way they rested, can you? So that's the same dinim should be when they traveled. Well, just like when they rested, Yaitse is possible, so when they traveled, it is possible. Mabachanos initially is possible. It's also possible Yaitse. Manda, the one that says Ein on Yifso, he says there's a very pasuk. See what it says when you're traveling, the lechem hatamid all of year. The lechem tamid should constantly be there, even when they're traveling. Obviously, it's still kosher. Let's go back to the other one. It says kashi chanuk. But what do you do with the pasuk kashi yachanu ken yisau? So he said, leading is vaket. We learned all the way around. Just like when they're resting. If it didn't leave its original place, it didn't leave a shulchan late, mifsal, doesn't become possible. So I've been also while they travel, become possible. The other one also, but it says in the pasuk, how can you say that it's what? It's possible. It says lechem hatamid all of you, and that's such a strong question. So your mother now has to amend the whole understanding of the argument. Elaki also Abdimi came along, he said, Bimis Sudan. If it's still sitting on the original shulchan, the Kohen will be no argument. He pleaded their argument, Masulik, he removed it from the shulchan. Mandam, and if the one who said that is possible, why does it say possible? Pashat. See, because can you so over there it has to sit on the shulchan. He removed it from the shulchan, and there's no mishkan. So Ma'abichinas needs to be Yaitse, just Yaitse. So therefore, it becomes possible with Yaitse. The Mandam, the one who says Ein on Nifsul, does not become possible because you see it says V'nosa oil made. And while he was traveling, it's still the oil considered an oil made. So we're talking about it here that it didn't come to Shabbos, it wasn't yet ready, and it was suluk, and they moved it. So he says here, "V'nosa oil made." As long as they traveled, it's still considered the oil made. Still considered oil made. Talking about right. So what about the pasuk so that whatever possible when it's sitting, if it's sitting and took over the table, it becomes possible. They learned the other way. Just like b'chaniyose when it's resting. If you did not take it out of the Mishkan, it's not possible. So when they were traveling, it didn't take it out from the Machne. It doesn't become possible. Whenever it travels, that's talking about the structure of the Golim, how they all set up, all the different Shvatim. That's all, nothing to do with Apostle Yates or not. Another one, how's he learned that out? The Machne Levim B'Techa Machnes. And the Apostle Machne Levim B'Techa Machnes. Now, because we learned it out. Basically, the question, it says, B'Shas, he look Masoyis. It says when the Messiahs were traveling, Kochim Nivsolin B'Yaitse, the Kabbanas would become puzzled if they were still sitting there, if there's still kabbalas left over, they're possibly yaitse, because there's no longer any mishkan surrounding it. Now, remember, there's the laws of Tumah that a tummy mace has to go outside, make sure he's outside Machna Shechina. Dovin has to make sure they're outside Machna Leviyah. The Tzayroyin have to make sure they're outside Machna Yisrael. So it says here, Zovin u'Mitzrayim still mishtalchen chutzim b'chitzasim. Even though the Mishkan is not upstanding, the rest of the Tumah have to leave. My lava lechem aponim. Sounds like when it says kachim become possible when the Mishkan is not upstanding, lechem aponim also is possible when the Mishkan is not upstanding. What shall I know? Lechem aponim is an exception. So when I ask, Manushich, that doesn't make sense. Oil moed davke, if you need oil moed is davke, what is considered still as if the Mishkan is standing with, when also it's still called oil moed. If you kosher nami, it should be kosher. No, but the oil moed lav davke, really like the oil moed is going. Then if you like a nami, lechem also a problem. Elikios Rabin Amar says like this. There's actually no argument there. Mar Amar, the one that says that it's what? That it's still kosher, talking about it's still sitting on the shulchan. So even though the Mishkan is not there, it's still kosher. It's not yaitse. Mar Amar when you took it off the table and the Mishkan is no longer there, then it's yaitse. But late pleaded, in fact, they're not arguing at all. Says the Gemara Amar Abaye says Shmami no. From here we learn now the fact that it says that kachim become possible when the Mishkan is moving because of yaitse. If they only dismantle the Mishkan in the morning, what kachim would you still have left in the morning? Only yesterday's. Isn't there a second problem there, Lina? Why do you have to introduce the problem of yaitse? You can only come to one conclusion, that sometimes they dismantle the Mishkan at night. So there's no Lina yet, because at night you can still bring it on the Mizbeach. So therefore we talk about yaitse. They should travel, dismantle at night. These are that going to tell me, ain't Silmatzal, I didn't. Ain't Madly. When did they pick up the side of the Mishkan? The tzaf in the morning, they might yimshim yaitse. Why is there only a problem? Because the yaitse, terribly slow the problem of Lina. Says the Gemara further, that's a bias Kiddush. It's obvious they traveled at night. It says they traveled by day and by night. No, says the Gemara. I would have thought. I would have thought it's only talking about where you did it by day. It's only started by day and you continued into the night. If you're starting at night, maybe at night you can't dismantle. It's like all the avodah of kabbalah you don't really do at night. So maybe the same thing by the Mishkan. Come out, Shalom, like you do. Minu, I'll ask you a question you said over here regarding the different Tumeim, like Mitzayr and Zav, they still have to maintain their distance. Yet it says another Bryce, if there's no Mishkan, then the other ones also aren't affected. Uglu HaPareiches, they remove the Pareiches, Hutru HaZavin Umetzrayim with Kanasham, then all the laws of this Tumah, that can't step into certain areas, are removed as well, are eliminated. What's going on here? It's actually machlekes. The Tanya we learned in the Bryce. It says I would have thought if the Mitzayim, let's say we're talking about here in Pesach, if the majority of the people are tummy mace, they're mutter. But the other tumas like a Zav and Mitzayim, there's no heter for them to join in. So what happens when they did? So the Chacham say, well, they did whatever the Isurim are and the punishments are for the Mitzayim for entering, it still applies, even though there's no law of tummy mace at the time. But Rabbi Lezer says, I would have thought if they would have pushed their way in, and which are not allowed to walk in the base of English, even though the Nichnos of the Azad of a Pesach and they would have entered, I would have thought they should be chayiv, they encouraged, because there was no permission for them to do that. I'm blind, but they don't. Why? Because it says in the pasuk, when should you send it out? Send them out from the camp. The whole Tamil and Nefesh, only while also the laws of Tamil and Nefesh apply. That's when they get sent out. But ain't let's say the time the mission is dismantled, so there's no din of tummy mace about being sent away, then ain't Zovin Mishtalchin. Neither do they get sent away, they don't get curse. Even though it's also they don't get curse. Says the Mishnah, so therefore, according to him, the laws of Zav and Mitzayr don't apply when the Mishkan is dismantled. Says the Mishnah, Achas shtei halechem, Achas lechem. Now there's three different stages when it comes to lechem haponim shtei lechem. First of all, you got to knead it and form the dough, then you got to bake it, and then you got to place it on the shulchan. Question is, which stage does it become kodesh? Because remember, once it's Kodesh, it cannot leave the premises of the Beis Hamikdash. So we have three opinions: Tanakama, Rabbi Huda, and Rav Shimon. Starting with the Tanakama. So the Mishnah, Achas shtei halechem va'achas lechem aponim, whether it's lechem aponim, li shasam, the kneading, va'adi chasam, the preparing is bachutz, can be done outside the Beis Hamikdash because it's not Kodesh. But ba'afiyasim b'fnim, the baking has to be done inside, and we'll see later because that's the process, that's the stage, the oven, which was inside the Beis Hamikdash, was much consecrated. The Einon, the Shabbos, and it does not push away Shabbos. It does not push away Shabbos. Now, we're going to have to understand if you bake it and the baking makes it Kodesh and it doesn't push away Shabbos, which means you have to bake it on Friday. So why isn't there a problem of Lina? That's going to be Rav Shesha's question. Remains the question. Rabbi Yehuda says, every stage is befrim because he holds even the dry flour is measured in clay shara, so it becomes Kodesh. And Rav Shimon says, no, there's no Kodesh at all, not in the process of the kneading it, not in the process of baking it. It's only when you put it on a shulchan. So Rav Shimon says, he would say, shtei halechem, the lechem, aponim, both of them, you can do them in the azara, also you can do it outside, by base pagi, which is the outer wall around the shrine. Different opinions we discussed before in previous Gemaras. Says the Gemara, I have a problem. But if you say you say that could all be done on the outside. Alma, what do we see? There's no Kodesh. That means midas yavish, when you measure the flour, dry goods, loinus kacha. That keli did not become Kodesh. And then you say vafiyosam, but the baking has to be done inside, as if to say it became holy when you measured it. Alma midas yavish kacha. This staging mode doesn't realize that the oven itself can make it holy. Amar Rabba says, Rabba hiksha adam kosher, a very tough person asked the question, shu kosher kabazel, tough like metal. Iron, which is Rav Sheshes, the man of Rav Sheshes. This is a question. And the Gemara says, what's the question? My kasha, the measuring cup for dry goods was not Mekadosh, but Tanu Mekadosh, the oven was Mekadosh. Eli kasha, if you have a question, how Kaddish the question? The baking is inside Alma, what we see, Tanu Mekadosh, we see that the oven makes it holy. But then you say the Shabbat doesn't push away Shabbos, which means you have to prepare it on Friday. Isn't that Lina? Isn't that possible, Lina? This is a tough question, tough like metal. And and Tesis points out why do we compare him to metal is because it says any Talmud Chacham that's not tough and doesn't have a backbone, like Barzel, is not qualified to be Talmud Chacham. Says, I think I can answer this question. My question, my bifnim. Bifnim doesn't mean, you thought that means baking the oven. Bifnim means in the base of Mikdash. No, bifnim means makam zizin. With the kainim, basically, it could be outside the base of Mikdash. We're kainim because you want to make sure it doesn't become chametz. But you want to say, we don't think it's correct. Because if you're worried about becoming chametz, then why only the stage of baking? You should be worried equally, if not more so, when the stage of kneading. So it should also be done in makam zizin with the kainim. Also the kneading and the setting. If you don't need zizin, if you're not you don't need zizin. Ravashi is Berusi. It's a mistake. Rabbi Yehuda, same thing. Rabbi Yehuda said that all the activities are inside. Rabbi Bakana said, they both dash in the same pasuk. What do you mean? Because David Melech was fleeing Shaul HaMelech. They went to Noiv and he asked them for bread, and they offered him lechem apanim. Also, they were very poor, and they offered him lechem apanim. And he gave them a lecture, and he said it was done in the weekday and so on. What exactly was his lecture? What was he telling them about? So they dash in the pasuk where he says, "Who derechol?" This was made like a mundane thing. Even though today it becomes kodesh in the keli. What is it? What's he telling them all? There are two opinions. One opinion, the story happened in the weekday. He found them the ko'afel. They were baking the lechem upon him on a weekday. And Amalu, he said to them, you're baking it on the weekday. Even though it's today you're going to make it in a keli. The problem is, he said, if you're going to make it today, Friday, if you're going to make it Friday, then you're going to have a problem that on Shabbos will be lina. How can you do that? So therefore, Rabbi Yehuda is saying over here that placing it in the oven makes it holy, and therefore he don't know tell him off. Why do the weekday do it on Shabbos? Could be a problem of weakness. So we see that baking it makes it holy. The Gemara, yeah, and Reb Shimon holds the other way around. He found them that they were baking in the Shabbos. The Shabbos, he found them baking in the Shabbos. He said to them, you should have done, not he told them off for doing the weekday, you should have done the weekday. You should have done the weekday. So I needed Tana Mekadosh, the Tana make it holy, so therefore why you have to be Deichel Shabbos? Because on a Friday there's no problem of doing it because it wasn't holy, and you don't have to be Mechal Shabbos. Shulchan Hu the Mekadosh, it's a table that makes it Kodesh. Says the Gemara, how can you say the B'Shas HaFiyashkin? He found the one of baking. The Kohen gave him the Lechem HaPanim, the only bread they had was HaPanim. So therefore he found the one that's already fully baked. You're taking away from the Eibishter. In fact, it has nothing to do with that they were preparing it and he told them off. Either it happened on Shabbos and you told them off for how come you on Shabbos, what you should have done on Friday. Since they're not holy anyway, why Mechal? Or he caught them doing it on Friday. He said, you become holy and it'll be lean, do it on Shabbos. Nothing to do with that. In fact, what does have to do with something else altogether? Ella, what did he tell them off? How did he come? He told them, there's no other bread other than the bread here that we're taking away from Hashem. He said, they said, the Kohen of Noah said to David HaMelech, the only bread we have is lechem haponim. How can we give it to you? It belongs to Kohen. So David HaMelech said to them, here it's Shabbos, the bread is ready, only Kohen can eat it, there's a law for Yisrael to eat it. Surely I can take it. The Kingdom of Mila, there's no longer a case of stealing from Beis Hamikdash because it's already ready and belongs to the Kohen. They're a cholim. Therefore, they're a cholim, they're allowed to take it because it's a kohen nefashis. But more than that, even the new ones that you're just being mekadosh right now, it means it belongs to the Eibishter, and therefore if I use it, I'm stealing it. Nevertheless, you can give it to me and eat it. You know why? Because his life was in danger, and therefore, pekuach nefesh, of course you're allowed to eat it. Even though there's kachim that has meila, you steal from Beis Hamikdash. So therefore, David HaMelech's words has nothing to do with the machleket of Rabbi Yehuda and of Shimon. Go back to the questions, what they argue. The boss, Rabbi Yehuda and Shimon, they're arguing what they heard from their rebbes. That's all they're arguing. Rabbi Yehuda was makabel from his rebbes that the other makes a kodesh, and Rabbi Shimon did not. And I prove it to you, because they can I prove it to you. Turn now in the mission of Shimon Olam Habi Ragel Shloimeh should always be used to saying, Tei halechem, the lechem haponim, Teidas ba'azara, the shtei lechem haponim, are kosher in the Beis Hamikdash or Teidas Beis Pagi, also Beis Pagi. And it says here, Rogi Laim, he said it quite often. Mamino is that he's repeating what his Rebbe said. They have a good day, and I'll see you tomorrow on the Shregish.